Good morning and welcome to the Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We as human beings want success. And the most desired success is to be financially independent, to be prosperous materially, and nothing wrong with that. And yet, many people don't become successful. They are materially not successful. Why so? Primarily, it is the negative emotions that bar their progress. And these emotions are such which are an impediment to achieve financial prosperity. We have to move past our limit, those emotions that limit our behavior and beliefs. And most of the people who come to me, meet me, are not aware how to overcome those emotions. The problem is that you can overcome an impediment provided you know it. Many times, the impediments, the obstructions, the checks, the obstacles are such which are camouflaged. Camouflaged as genuine concerns while they are really not so. So let's first identify those sources, and then as we proceed in our subsequent episodes, we would be seeing how to control them or overcome them. The first is anxiety, the most limiting emotion, the most critical emotion that bars us from becoming financially prosperous is anxiety. And many times people think that anxiety is psychological. It is. Essentially, it is discomfort and uneasiness when taking or planning to take an action. Before you take an action, you have myriads of doubts. Am I successful? Would I have capital? Would I have people? Would I have market? And so on and so forth. And all these factors add to your anxiety. But there are two important things at work. The first is there's a sense of discomfort when you want to start something new. Even when you're feeling that you are successful, a nagging doubt is there. And the doubt is always when they want to have a change. And when you want to take up any project, when you want even to enter a new service, there's always a doubt. For service people, the doubt may be about the boss, about the work culture, toxicity. Or the business may be finance, maybe people, human resources, human capital, market. As I said, this is basically our aversion to change, which causes anxiety. The second is that this discomfort brings up other emotions which are normally hidden. Anxiety is an emotion which is not hidden, but there are hundreds of other emotions which feed this emotion. They are hidden, and they are the major source of our problems. So, the first block you have to get over is anxiety that needs planning, that needs forethought, that needs foresight, and a myriad of other factors. The second emotion that's limiting is fear. As I said earlier, the fear of change. We human beings say all the time, change is the law of nature. All, every stage, when the change is there, we are worried. We want the lakes and the seas to be calm, not wavy. Any change heralds unknown factors which we don't want to face. And the people who become prosperous are the people who welcome change. They want to crush the waves that become across, and then they are successful. And fear is of various natures. We fear losing our friends if we borrow money from them. We fear loss itself, financial loss. And that's why we put considerable effort into managing our risk of loss, the risk factors. The optimistic people fear the idea of feeling fear. They take fear like a nettle in the hand and crush it and get over that. And the people who cannot get over that suffer. They fall down. Fear is something which is there as long as you do not meet head on. It is always a sign of uncertainty and indecision. And when we talk of indecision, that gives rise to the third major emotion that causes problem to us, and that is doubt. We doubt our own capability. We doubt the lack of funds. We doubt the market. And most of the people doubt their fate. Maybe fate doesn't want me to do so. Maybe if and then doubt is also about the fact that they have other responsibilities to discharge. So if they are unsuccessful, what happens to the other responsibilities that are equally important or rather more important? So the anxiety and fear are fueled by doubt. Doubt is a feedstock both of fear and of the anxiety. As a matter of fact, all these emotions are interrelated. One fuels the others. They flare up, fuel the third one. It's like a multi-stage rocket. And the things go on and on. A member or a family might imply a comparison with ourselves. And then, these people, so-called friends and relations, are a major problem. They come to you, well, so-and-so did so, and he failed, and he had to declare bankruptcy. So-and-so did so, and he failed, and his wife had to file a divorce. So-and-so did so, and his children are not able to prosecute their education. People forget that for every there is one success story, always. And the 99 failures, the 100 failures are because of the doubts, because of the fear, because of the anxiety. Until and unless you get over that nagging fear, you cannot be successful. Doubt holds you back from entering a new world. When someone is against you, criticizes you, it's a chance to discover the doubts that you hold within you and come face to face with them. Doubts are never resolved by thought, they are resolved by action. And then, there's guilt. Guilt of what? Guilt of not doing anything or not performing enough. Excuse me. There are a number of people, you might be one of them, who need everyone around them to agree with. And that is because they feel guilty about leaving anyone out. I did not discuss it with my friend. I did not discuss it with my son, with my father, with my brother. I did not have a complete heart to heart talk with my financial advisor, with my mentor, and so on and so forth. So there's a guilt that you have not done enough. There's a guilt that you are not laying all the cards on the table. And when you feel guilt, it's like that you have done something wrong. And that wrong aids, abets fear. And fear begets anxiety. So, if you get the approval from others, then the feeling of guilt is avoided. But then the second guilt would be there. And that would be you're not self confident. You are doing so because everybody told you to do so. So this is a double-edged sword. You're damned if you do it. You're damned if you don't do it. So the best thing, do what your gut tells you to do. Do not try to get the approbation of each and every individual. That might be helpful, but mostly it's not. So these are the four major ones, but they are not alone. There's one more: neglect, self-neglect. The spectrum of the negative emotions which hinders you is crowned by the lack of self-esteem and self-worth. You are not sure of yourself. And when you are not sure of yourself, how can you not be anxious? As a matter of fact, when you're not sure of yourself, you doubt your capability. I'm not talking about doubting the external factors. I'm talking about doubting the internally, your intellect, your capability, your honesty, your integrity. And that lack of self-esteem is one of the major blocks, and you would find that persons with a low self-esteem are hardly ever successful. To be really successful, you need to have self-esteem of the highest order. When you operate in a state of anxiety, in a state of fear, doubt, guilt, low self-esteem, what you're doing is you're blocking the flow of energy and the good fortune. These five are the barrier, the sand barriers to the progress of the tide of good fortune. And here comes in the role of your partner, your spouse. Because spouse is one person who can either destroy you or build you up. The confidence of the spouse has a geometrical progression in enhancing your capabilities. Unblocks the flow of energy, makes it even. And the result is good fortune. If you're either focused literally on what can go wrong, you can never do anything right. Let's be very clear. Keep on thinking this might go wrong, and it would go wrong. So first thing is to be sure to have a confidante. That is your integrity, your ego, your inner self, and your partner. And then don't depend too much on the friends and the well-wishers. The so-called friends and well-wishers, howsoever well-meaning they may be, are more often than not are a stumbling block. So, if you want to have a free flow of energy and good fortune, get rid of these five emotions, the negative emotions. If you don't focus your eyes on what can go wrong, focus on what would be right. Don't come to self-doubt. Don't doubt your capability. Opportunities are galore. I often say, no opportunities are ever lost. It's somebody else who is going to take it. So it's for you. Either you take the opportunity yourself or let others take it. When you come to doubt, to anxiety, to guilt, to low self-esteem, you are demeaning yourself and you can never achieve great height. And the sooner you understand the limiting factor of these emotions, the more quickly you will move to a place which will increase your sense of accomplishment, sense of peace, prosperity, and abundance. Get rid of these emotions, sublimate thyself, and better thyself would be the result. Thank you.